just did the chart. Some of you guys might be more lost than I'd like. So, hoping this board's working today. Yeah. All right. So, our test is going to be on Tuesday. This is probably our last full test of the year, but then what we'll do is we're still going to learn, and then anything that shows up after this test will just go on to our, like, it'll be questions on our exam.
You put early date on there. Send it in there.
Oh, I did 2 days from now. That would not be it. This is the 9th. Thank you. Sorry, I just like added 2 days thinking it's like the next class, but we're not. I don't know about you, but I am not coming to school on Sunday.
I am.
I mean, I know you're all diehards. All right, so we want to find the area and perimeter of the following shapes. So in this shape, and I'll try to make sure it's clear what shape we're talking about. This one happens to be a parallelogram. So the opposite sides should be equal. So I should easily be able to find the perimeter of this one. So I should be able to add up all those outside edges to get our perimeter, which would be 60, and then we'd say inches in this case. Now this one, the area is a little more complicated because I don't know the height of this shape. I know the base, but I don't know the height. So this is where we have to use trig to help us find that height. And again, there won't be a ton of questions with trigonometry, one or two, probably one or two SOHCAHTOA or Pythagorean theorem. So just be prepared for that. So in this case, I need to find the height, which would be here. So I have this little right triangle here where I know this 65-degree angle. And I know the hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse is going to be sine. So I have my sine of 65 equals x over 12. Opposite over hypotenuse. So now we're going to multiply each side by 12. And I find out the height is going to be 10.9-ish. Now, that's not my answer. That's just the height. And so going back to, like, I feel like Luke and I argue about, or like basically, like every time he asks me about an answer, I would not use 10.9 to figure out my area. I'm going to use this long number in my calculator. I'm doing area as base times height. So rather than typing 10.9, I'm going to leave this in my calculator and I'm going to multiply it by 18 because that's the base and height. So I get my area as 195.8. And this will be inches squared. And if you use the rounded answer, you're going to get 196.2. So we're like a whole, like almost a half of an inch off. So we want to be more accurate. So again, I used what I had in my calculator already, and it's less work that way. All right, our next one here wants the perimeter and the area of this triangle here. The little dots on the outside are to help us to figure out the base and height. Now this one, the area is easier. Base times height divided by 2. So my base is 12. My height is 10. The 4 is not going to be used right now. So we're using these two pieces here. So I'm doing 12 times 10 divided by 2. So my area is going to be, yep, I think Carson, you're right, like 60 square inches, right? Now I want to figure out the perimeter, which is the distance around this shape. So I still need to find this third side here. Yeah, so here's where we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. I need to find that third side, but they give me enough information to see this is a little right triangle here. So I'm able to find that third side using Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to take the square root of 116, and I get like 10.8 for my x, I believe. And then I'm adding up all the edges then from there. So my perimeter distance around ends up being 40.8 inches. So remember that perimeter is just like the regular units, whereas area is squared. Okay. So our next three, they're just asking for areas. So our first one there is a pentagon. And I'm going to use our regular polygon rule for this. So I don't know little a. N is the number of sides, so that's 5. S is the side length, which is 17.6. I need to find little a. 15 is not my little a. We have to go back a perpendicular distance there. So this is 15, half of this, 17.6 divided by 2. My Friday morning brain is not working. 8.8. And I need to find little a here. So we're going to do a squared plus 8.8 squared equals 15 squared. So I get little a is about 12.1. But again, if you can listen to me, like hear my voice here, we need to use that long decimal when we go to figure this out. So leave that long decimal in there. Don't just round off and call that 21.8. I'm taking that, I'm multiplying it by n, which is 5, multiplying by s, which is 17.6, and then multiplying by a half. And my area ends up being 534.5. And then this is centimeters squared. So try to keep that big decimal in your calculator. It'll save you time in the long run. So if it can just convince you that that's helpful, that's going to be save you like time and losing points. Our next one here is a little kite. In our kite, we need to use the formula that talks about the diagonals. Now I'm careful that you don't get it mixed up with the trapezoid. This one we multiply the diagonals and divide it in half. Now one of the diagonals I can tell what it is. It's 9 and 6 together. So it's 15. What's the other one going to be?
10.
It's going to be 10. Because in a kite, there's one set of equal sides, or one set of like bisected diagonals, so that's also 5. So 5 and 5 is going to be 10 here. So that other diagonal is going to be 10. So when I go to find this area, I'm taking these two diagonals, multiplying them together, and dividing by 2. So we get 75 square millimeters. And just so you guys know, when I was doing this, I was taking questions, I was looking at the test, and I was grabbing questions that I thought looked similar. So anything we're doing on here, I feel like this is very similar to what's going to be on our test. So making sure you guys are doing a good job of asking if you're not understanding something or using this to help you. Now this last one is a trapezoid, or you can think of it as a rectangle and a triangle. It's kind of up to you guys how you want to go about it. So in this case, I know that this would be 10. I know this would be 5. But I still have to find this leg either way because I need it either for the trapezoid or the triangle. I think a rectangle and triangle makes the most sense. Do you guys agree? Yeah. So we're going to do a rectangle formula, base times height. And then we're going to add it to the triangle formula. So we're going to find each of these. So this is our first shape, and then this is our second here. So we're adding those two pieces together. The first one's easy, 5 times 10. Other one's a little bit trickier. We have to do Pythagorean theorem again. So I have to do 5 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. I believe this happens to be a Pythagorean triple. This is one of the nice ones. I believe it's 12, right?
Mm-hmm. What?
The x is 12. Yeah, sorry.
Nice.
Yours.
Sure.
So 12 is that x. So we can do base times height divided by 2. The base and height are the 5 and 12. And I can add them together and divide it by 2. So, so this is 8.5, and I'm adding it to 50. And this would be meters squared, metric system for Luca. Okay.
Yeah. Why stupid?
What's the matter?
Yeah.
Did you get 82?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
Were you supposed to?
Oh, multiply these. Yes, thank you. Sorry, guys. I think I was thinking trapezoid and then got myself confused. Thank you for catching that. Thank you for saying, I know you guys checked each other's answers and then I didn't hear you say initially that I was wrong. I apologize. I was thinking trapezoid. That's where you add the bases together. Good work, guys. So 5 times 12 divided by 2. 5 times 12 is 60. Divided by 2 is 30. There we go. We get 80. And like I said, that's why I hate area problems, because I don't look at them and be like, and think, oh, I know like what my answer should be. Like I don't really have a good idea of what it should be. So.
What's written behind there? Your mistakes don't define you.
Oh yes, I have to read my own poster. I have it straight across from me, so I remember that. Thank you.
No problem.
I'll talk to you about that. All right, guys. So we're gonna find the area of the circle. We're gonna find the circumference, and then they want the arc length from K to L and the sector area from K to L. So first, they just want the area of the full circle. So ignore all the extra lines in here. So the area of the circle is pi r squared. Now, what's r in this case? Careful.
6.
It's going to be 6. They tell me all the way across is 12, so that means r is 6. So I'm multiplying 36 by pi. I want a decimal, so I get 113.1. And this will be meters squared. Area is squared. Then it wants circumference. I can either use the diameter or the radius. I'm going to use the diameter because they actually give that to us. It's pi times d. Oh, no, not 8. So pi times 12. So the circumference is 37.7, and again, now this one, This is just distance around, so this is just going to be meters. Now it wants me to find the arc length from K to L. Now arc length is just the distance along the edge. So we have to look at our arc length formula, and that's just like a walking distance or a measurable distance with like a, meter stick or whatever tape measure. So we use the arc length formula. I can use 2 pi r, pi times d, it doesn't really matter. But our x in this case is what? Well, m's not very helpful. What is m? It's going to be 80. The reason it's 80 is because this is 180. They give me that little angle as 100, so I need that 80 degrees. Or m. And I'm going to multiply this all together. And take time to multiply this. Make sure you guys are getting the correct answer and you're not just not knowing how to do this. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. 8.4 meters. And again, this is just a walking distance or a measurable distance, so we just write meters. And I'm anticipating it's smaller than this one because it's only part of the circle. And same thing if I now want that area, so that slice. So it's kind of the same idea, x out of 360, but times pi r squared. So again, take time to practice putting this into your calculator. Some of your calculators are like tougher than others to do this. So I got like 25.1, and this would be meters squared. And again, it should be smaller than that other one because it's only a slice of the whole. All right, I'm going to let you guys know we're not going to end up doing the notes quiz today. We're running low on time. We're just going to keep plugging through this. So, stay with me. I'm shortening it up with like I said, I have a notes quiz for us, but I won't have time. If anyone likes the notes quiz, because it does help your grade a little bit, you could always do it like after our test or something if you're like hanging on and need that extra points. So, they want the area of this shape. So this is a triangle. I'm going to skip this one because it's so similar to the one on the top. Let's flip to the back side.
Stupid, I hate it.
Oh, we're so good.
Unfair, bro. I was just grinding.
She was actually just at the coffee shop. She was like having breakfast. Like,
We're done with some breakfast.
Yeah, where's your pal?
she didn't even bring us any.
It's kind of mean.
We should have brought some for the
You know what, the next time any of you come in late, I'm just gonna berate you the whole time.
Hey.
You don't come in.
Yeah, never. All right. So guys, so if the area is 56 square inches, and you know the basis for, find the height of the triangle. So we're gonna put everything in that we know. So we know the area is 56. They tell us the basis for, we want to find the height. So we're going to solve for h. Any thoughts on what you guys want to do first? You want to divide it? So 4 over 2 is just 2. So we just simplified that a little bit. So now to get my h, yep. Yeah, now we can just divide by 2. And so we find the height of this triangle would be 28, and it'd be inches. Okay? So these are talking about ones where we have to do a little bit of solving. Our next one here says the area of a circle is 64 square inches. They want to find the radius and the diameter. Oh, sorry, 64 pi. So I'm putting that into my formula. Any thoughts on what we can do first? We can divide by pi. What happens when we divide by pi? it gets rid of the pi. We no longer have pi. So we're left with 64 equals r squared. So what's r going to be?
8.
Yeah, we take the square root. So r is 8. So that's our radius, inches. What would our diameter be then?
16.
Thank you, Michael. 16.
Michael's.
Michaels, all of you. All right, good work, you guys. Last one here. Probably our least favorite kind. I'll admit, I don't really love these questions. I feel like they're kind of. So they want the measure of JK, and I'm not just kidding. Oh, but all right, dad joke. So, okay, so guys, remember that the scale factor squared is going to equal the ratio of the two areas. So the scale factor is going to be 6 to x. I don't know what that part is yet, but I have to square it. And that's going to equal the ratio of the area. So since the 6 is with the 24, I'm going to put 24 on top. Since the x is with the 294, I'm going to put that on the bottom. Now I'm going to tell you guys, this is not the only way to do this problem. I can think of like 3 different ways to do this problem. I think this is the easiest one. So I'm squaring each of those. And then I'm going to cross multiply like we do with our proportions. So I have 24x squared equals we're going to divide by 24 to get that moved over. And then I'm going to take the square root. And I find out that x is going to be 21, and then that's feet. Okay? All right.